The General Service Committee to order. Special call meeting November the 14th. Ms. Key, you know what to do.
Councilman Morgan.
Had me confused.
Councilwoman Swearingen Washington.
Present.
Councilman Warren.
Present.
Chair Smiley.
My mic is not on. Let me say it again. We're going to take up item number 2 from the November 7th committee meeting, which is ordinance to amend Chapter 15, Article 1, Section 15-12 to amend the solid waste fees for the collection and disposal of solid waste. All council districts sponsored by the administration. Can I get a motion in a second? Moved by Warren, seconded by Swearingen Washington. Director Davis, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Chairman. Philip Davis, Solid Waste Director, 2081 Old Oak Drive, Memphis 38119. So we're back here today to speak to the solid waste fees. I'm hoping that everybody's had a chance to digest the presentation from last Tuesday a little bit more. Happy to entertain more questions. I don't have anything added to the presentation. I just wanted to try to help provide more context, more detail, to make you guys feel comfortable about what we're looking at.
So does any council members have questions right off the bat? Go ahead, Councilman Warren.
I think we talked, or I at least asked for some sort of presentation or alternative structure to pay for this that included a property tax increase as opposed to all fee schedule. And I was wondering, is that in this ordinance as it's written right now?
No, sir, that is not in this ordinance as it's written right now.
Okay, I just want you to know that I don't think I'm going to be able to support it as it's written right now without that type of, at least plan or language coming on. And what does our next mayor say about this? Have you talked with him about this particular issue?
I have mentioned it to him in my meeting with him.
And the response?
The response was basically him taking in the information as information. That there was no guidance or no opinion one way or the other.
Okay, so I think that's one thing that we may need to get before we move forward. Make sure that we're in sync with whoever's going to be the new administration leader about how this goes. But in my mind, I think we may be a little premature taking this all the way through until we know that we've got a way to support it. And I understand that we've got other issues coming from ASME, and you guys have been working together this morning to come up with Plan B. So I'm wondering, do you really still want us to move ahead with this, or do y'all want to keep working on this for a while?
At this point right now, I do still endorse the option 2 that's in this presentation. I believe that is the option that gives us the funding to support the necessary people, drop-off locations, the infrastructure improvements, both existing and future with the drop-off location.
But option 2 is the fee only, right?
It's the fee only with the description. There's going to need to be an accompaniment with this. I'm going to have to come back to council to, or at the time of this adoption, I'm going to need a resolution to appropriate the funds because I'm going to need to implement this option, any of these options, in the second half of this fiscal year.
So I think that what I'm hearing you say is that you need a guarantee of funds so you can order the equipment and stuff you need to do a version of option 2. Now, as far as ASME is concerned with option 2, what do they have to say about their recommendations to you? How would that work with them if we do option 2?
I would let them speak to that.
Can I ask me that then? Proceed, and we'll come back. So as far as options 2 is concerned, how does that work with where you guys are coming from, and what are your concerns with option 2 for our council? Get that close to you when you're talking.
Yeah. Adrian Rogers, president of ASME.
Thanks,
6650 Ross Code, Memphis, Tennessee 38141.
Gentleman beside you.
Maurice Spivey, 4133 Mountain Terrace.
Go ahead.
Well, basically, when I look over the model, the second model, option 2, it looks like Philip want to keep keep implementing the same program with just 92 extra full-time employees, correct?
That's correct. We need the funding for the people and the equipment necessary to cover the benefit that's offered by the city in the form of leave to handle absenteeism.
So from my point, from doing the job, I know for a fact that option 2 would not work in this city because it's not just.
How would you modify it?
Well, if you look at the third sheet, well, if you look at the first sheet, well, it's the second sheet of the ASME proposal. If you drop all the way down to the bottom where it say proposal, you'll see where I have 6 garbage trucks, 2 recycle trucks, 3 trash trucks, and they are staffed with 3 individuals on it. If you go back up to the top, you see the current model now is 5 garbage trucks, 1 recycle truck, no trash trucks.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're also adding, okay, you're adding, and I don't know if those numbers are the same because it looks like you're adding 4 trucks, 5 trucks. One's a recycle truck, 3 are trash trucks, and 1's an extra garbage truck. And when we total all of these up, are they the same number that's going to be added in Plan D? How does that compare to this plan, to your Plan B, your second plan as far as numbers of trucks? Because we're increasing, your Plan 2 increases trucks. Is it the same number? Because I'm trying to get apples to apples here.
I haven't seen that plan.
Okay,
No.
do you know,
No,
based on
they-
you seen his plan?
No,
Is
Phil's
it-
plan would not equal up to ours.
So this is more trucks or less trucks?
This is more trucks.
How many more than what their plan is?
I don't know how many. It's 18. You already know. It's 18. Okay.
So 18, you're adding 92, and you're talking about adding 110.
No, you said we're talking about 18 additional trucks.
But he's talking about 92 additional
Oh, he's talking about 92 additional full-time employees.
employees. And
I'm
how many
talking about
trucks?
six.
6 trucks?
Six crew chiefs, 22 crew people. That'll equal out to 4 garbage and 2 recycle.
Okay, so 6 trucks as opposed to 18.
Yeah. The additional in mine is the additional special equipment operators, which are the grapples and the truck drivers, the 12 special equipment operators and 38 dump trucks. That's to staff out the grapples that go around picking up the bulk waste and the associated dump trucks that follow behind to for those grapples to load and take to the landfill.
And in ASME's plan, there's no grapples, is that right?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, the grapplers are automatically cooked into the plan. What he's lacking is the gap of curbside service. Our plan proposes for full curbside service. He is talking about inside the cart and bulk. There is a middle service that has been taken away. That's why blight and illegal dumping is so bad. Our plan actually, takes care of the blight and illegal dumping.
But essentially, we're talking about 6 trucks versus 18.
With 12 truck difference.
Okay, he's got grapples and you guys don't. In
No,
that,
we do have grapples.
Okay, you have them.
They have trash.
Okay, so it's like, and you have trash trucks and he doesn't have any.
He doesn't have trash trucks.
Okay,
That's why the blight and illegal dumping is so
okay,
bad.
all right, and now, okay, so I think I understand the difference. What would be the problem with doing trash trucks and grapples? Why would we not want to do that?
My experience is, so we have, under that model, you would have every week, if you're a Tuesday collection today, you would have a garbage truck, which is a 32-yard packer body truck, garbage truck, drive by your home and touch the cart and empty it. That truck would leave. Later on, a trash truck would come by the same house and pick up the 2 bags that the first truck left. and that just seems extremely inefficient.
So is there a reason that we had to leave the 2 bags there?
No, we were, for years, you got the cart and 1 to 5 bags. They told us to stop doing that. We begged them to let us.
So if you
continue
got
to provide the
permission,
service.
that one first truck could get the bags?
That is where they hang their hat. It has been communicated to the teams that they need to pick up what is able to be handled by hand. That's not happening.
Did any time did people say not to do it and then we changed our mind, said to do it? Did we ever have that happen?
In 2019, in the revamp of the service delivery model, there was instruction given that tried to differentiate between the bulk waste crew and their responsibility and the regular garbage crew. And what happened during that time is there was to be every week garbage cart, 2 bags picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Twice per month, anything in excess of those 2 bags, including bulky items, would be picked up. And
So I think what happened, I see this, okay, and I had no idea that was the case.
Right.
That was just an educated guess on my part, trying to figure out exactly how this miscommunication may have gotten started. And, it sounds like, you guys are awful close to getting someplace. And I think if you've got employees telling you, like right now, we've been doing this plan where we've had the grapple trucks and we've been trying to make it work, and it's not working. And I think maybe doing more of it may not necessarily work. It may be worthwhile listening to our employees about they want to try this other thing and add to it. How would that work in your plan, your plan 2, if we went ahead with it? And I guess that's my last question, because I'm wondering, would that make you feel horrible if for some reason everything was clean because we had trash trucks and this, and it sounds to me like we may not need as many trash trucks if what happens is everybody went by and picked up 5 bags, and anything above and beyond that, the trash truck got. So I'm wondering if there's some place for compromise here to figure out how we have both of these systems in such a way that we don't spend so much money and we get it cleaner.
And what I have is a very literal workforce. So if I say 5 bags, if there's 6, they won't pick up the 6, they'll leave 1. And so what I'm trying not to do is create a truck called a trash truck that refuses an assignment.
Because
for
you're
being
worried that if
garbage
you're worried
or
that if you do that,
recycle
people
when I need
won't
them to
pick
do
it
that.
up because they think the trash truck won't get it. Is that your worry?
No, my concern is that the employees will say, I'm a trash truck, so I'm not gonna help with recycle. Or I'm a garbage truck, I'm not gonna help with trash. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Okay, so how do we work with our employees to help people realize we got to do it all together? When he's seeing this as a problem, when you talk to your constituent, your union members, what are they telling you about it, and what can you do to alleviate this as an issue for him?
So I'm not gonna sit up here and I'm not gonna act like. Yeah.
You got to get really close.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like we don't have some employees that got some issues.
Yeah,
do.
we know that.
Kind of have that.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee y'all, and I'm only gonna say it, I can guarantee y'all that if y'all went with the model that I'm proposing, this city will be 100% clean. And that's because of me, and I know those men and women that do the job. So y'all can take a look at Philip's proposal, take a look at mine. I know what it takes to clean this city up. We have been doing the job. We got guys that's over 60 years that's still working on the truck. We know how to get the job done.
Yeah.
Well, the scenario that Director Davis put forth doesn't even happen anymore. We've been asking for this to be an assignment every morning based off seniority. They haven't offered it as an assignment in 6 years. So there is no one who's been arguing for 6 years about trash versus recycle.
So what do you mean assignment? Asking what particular thing?
If you come to roll call and you have, say, 9 crew chiefs, okay, you know you're gonna have 6 that are assigned to garbage and 6 that are gonna be assigned to trash. They know what their assignment is every morning. They've been doing it for years. So it wouldn't be, it's not even an opportunity for someone to turn down the assignment. This is the
I
assignment
need to
they
get on the
accepted.
same using language. So garbage
Is the
is
cart.
the
The
cart.
cart, yes.
Yeah, they do trash bag style.
Trash is things outside the cart.
So garbage is can, trash
It's
is everything
outside the
outside.
car.
All right, we're on the same page.
Yes. So there were 3 dedicated crew chiefs for outside the cart responsibility. Before it became bulk waste, that's what you're missing. We left it on the curve so long that the piles grew and grew and grew to where you needed a machine to come get them. We didn't need all of this machinery in the past. We were getting it as soon as the citizens put it out. We were right there getting it. It may have been a 1 bag or 2 bag
So
difference.
let me ask you this question. Sorry, I'm gonna get
All right.
back to you.
You're
So
the chair, you get to do what you want.
Yeah,
hold up.
I apologize.
Remember he said that. All right, now go ahead. So my question for you is, okay, neighbor tosses out an old bed. So you telling me y'all would go by, under your method, you would toss that old bed in the back of a truck right away?
No, we stopped getting beds because
I'm
of
just
bed
saying.
bug issues. Yeah, hypothetically, yes. That bed, well, 1 mattress would be technically too small for a machine. 2 men get on each side of the mattress, 3
Store it in
seconds
the
is
back.
back of the truck, we going down the street to the next.
And now, under the current method, that's considered bulk waste, so it'll be every 2 weeks.
They deleted those men that were getting the trash. And then in bulk week, the 1st and 3rd week, you go to areas A, and then the 2nd and 4th week, you went to area B. So you had a 65% OSR out of service call when you started bulk week. So you only get to 65% in week 1 down to about 40%. Then you take all of the assets from A to B. While everybody's over in B, the trash is still building in A.
Okay.
And that's been the problem.
So my question, because we talking about a truck, I don't even know how much this truck costs.
Right now, a Packer is a $290,000.
So the trash truck is a Packer. Is anything else to be considered a Packer?
We only run 3 men conventional Packers now, rear loaders.
So we use a trash truck.
For
Is this
garbage,
a name that we give it, or is it a particular
a
type?
3-man conventional Packer is used for 3 assignments. Garbage, which is the cart,
Yeah.
trash, which is outside the cart, and recycling.
So they can use it for however,
Yeah.
but you can just designate it. This is going to be a trash.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Now I'm going to
Okay,
say.
I'm going to finish up. So the other issue that I've got is it seems like we've had a tough time maintaining a workforce, enough people. It's not just in this particular division, but in the police department, the fire department, here in City Hall. If we add these positions, how certain are you that we'll be able to fill them? Because we've got to have a plan that's going to get the city clean, even if we don't have all these positions filled. How do we do that?
Like I said last time, we have 165 contingent employees. We have 165 temporary employees right now. We talked in the past, the numbers is the same. If you had 165 to make them 40 full-time permanent, we would rather them become 165 full-time permanent employees. You're only talking about a difference from them going from $15 an hour now to $19 an hour. So the contingent employees are there now. They come to work every day.
And they wait to see if there's a spot.
Yes, sir.
And if there's not a spot, they don't get to work that day. If there's
No. They come to work and they have an assignment every day. Now, if there's a permanent position opens up or the city decides to hire, but some of
Can you
these,
explain contingent employees for us and what that?
Temps. They're temp. 56 hours a pay period as a temp employee, and then
So we only work them 32 hours?
32 hours
Or
a week.
28 hours?
Yeah, but under the incentive plan, that works and makes sense. And that's one thing I would want to make sure were we to proceed down.
What do you mean
the,
incentive plan?
were we to proceed down the trash truck, if we're going to start clearly assigning trash route, recycle route, garbage route, we need to have a clear understanding what that means under the incentive plan, because under the MOU that we have, the incentive plan allows when a crew receives their assignment at 7 a.m., if they complete that assignment in a few hours, they're paid the full 8 and allowed, and they're released for the day. And so if that, it doesn't matter if there's still trash out in another route, they go home fully paid, the trash stays on the street.
So how do we do that to where if we've got people we're paying for 8 hours and they're finishing up in 2 or 3 hours, how do we come back and say, hey, man, where you got it? I got to go. We need, we got 8 more hours. Let's do our 8 hours and get this city clean.
So-
I mean, that makes sense to me that, well,
It make much sense, but,
Yeah.
if you can understand the process, we work in zones. About us working in zones, each zone have a certain piece of equipment that enter that zone. If someone was behind in your zone, you didn't leave until you made sure Mr. Spy was caught up on his route. Now, if I didn't work in his zone and Philip had his own zone with Darius, then Philip wouldn't leave until Darius is completed in his zone. That's the way I understand it to work by zones. It doesn't work by individuals.
I guess what I'm saying is we're looking at it. That's also something that's not working for us
So-
right now.
So
This zone thing where people are working 2 or 3 hours and then done for the day when we still have garbage is not working either for the city. So if we're gonna look at hiring more people and doing stuff, then what we need to be doing also is looking at how we're gonna change this particular zone model or whatever it is that lets people work 3 hours and go home when we still have, maybe not even in their zone, someplace else in the city that needs to be picked up. There's garbage still there. So how do we fix that?
Well, the fix is built into the system. The MOU clearly states crews are to be released upon completion of their tour assignment of the entire zone. The supervisors are not there checking. We don't know if we get through with our route. No one is communicating with us that there is something else left over here. If we don't get that assignment at 7 o'clock in the morning, the old way supervisors will ride behind you, hey man, you got to go back over here and pick this up. That hadn't happened in years. Okay, so we don't know. They've given us these tablets that only last for 1 hour. The tablet is, as soon as you take it off, it goes from 100 to 50. That's supposed to be the way we communicate. We got the tablet, where they have tablets, it only lasts an hour a day, so we don't know. And in the past, we've always went and we showed up with 3 crew chiefs, we got up 6 routes, because we knew we had to do 6 routes that day. We don't know. They're not communicating with us. The supervisors are nowhere in the routes anymore. We don't know if it's a bag across the street, because that's not my route. I don't have any business going over there unless somebody tells me it's over there. So it's been a complete
It
breakdown.
sounds like there's a lot of room for improvement that we could maybe actually let people work longer hours, get things more cleaned up, and just bringing more people into a system that isn't working doesn't seem like that works either. So I don't know about you guys, but I think we still need more work done on this from ASME and also from you guys to come up with solutions, because if it seems like there's a solution there, we're close. All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry for taking so much time, guys.
I think Dr. Warren essentially said it's broken, fix it, then come back to us. That's what I think I heard him say. Councilwoman Johnson, talk to me.
Thank you. All being said, I'm still confused. It is crazy. I hear one side over here, then I hear the other side over there. Now, I want to start with the side that does the work all the time. And explain to me what you've passed out. The bottom portion and this chart over here. What am I supposed to be looking at?
all right.
Have y'all given one to Mr. Director Philip? He needs a copy.
Oh, she told me something.
Everybody on that side of the table, we don't have enough copies for everybody? Yeah.
All right, everybody ready? All right, going from the top again.
Excuse me, just, I don't, the other thing I'd like to know is, what is the difference in your route proposal that was already taking place, okay?
Okay, so you just want to know what's the difference between mine and Philip, okay? Okay. So, on the first page, as y'all can see, Philip is currently running 5 garbage trucks, 1 recycle truck, no trash trucks, and he's staffing with 3 individuals. My proposal was to change and run 6 garbage routes, 2 recycle trucks, 3 trash trucks, and keep them staffed with 3 individuals on it. All right. So each bunk room, this will be each bunk room. If you look at A, B, C, and D, those are called a whole area. A is the area, B is the area, C is the area, D is the area. As y'all know, E is contracted out. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, A has 3 bunk rooms in it. B has 3 bunk rooms in it. C has 3, D has 3. Each bunk room has a garbage route, a recycle route, no trash route. I'm trying to change that to the point to add a trash route in each one of those bunk rooms. They'll still have those 2 pickers in it and 6 bob trucks in it. So it's meaning that when your garbage day come, your garbage truck will run, he'll get the can. The trash truck will run, he'll get anything outside of 5 bags, which means you done cut down tree branches, you done put a mattress out there, bed. After they do their shopping for the New Year's, you pick up everything. The only thing the pickers would come by and get is it had logs in it, had to have logs in it. They would come by and pick up those items. Now, what I increased from Philip was looking for 92 extra employees. To run my plan, we would have to have additional 321 employees. And the reason why is because the crew chief, as you can see at the top, we currently right now have 126 crew chiefs. Those are the drivers. I currently need 198 crew chiefs. So we're looking at a 72 difference, 72 people different. As you look at crew people, we currently have 142 crew people. We need 396 to run the model that I want to propose. Tractor trailer driver, we currently have 19. We need 25. The truck drivers, we currently have 63. We need 68. The maintenance mechanics, they fix the garbage carts, we currently have 7. We need 10. Those SEOs, those are the pickers. We currently have 22 of those. We're going to keep those current numbers, 22. If you look beside those, the new numbers that we need, those are the current rates that we're asking for to bring in to the people. So a crew chief would go from 21 to 27. And this, 2 years different. We're talking about 2025. And as y'all can see, all the numbers, I got the salaries right there beside the numbers. I got what it take a year to pay those individuals.
How much more would it? I don't have the plan. That seems like we're printing off some more. How much more are we talking annually?
See, this the thing with Philip plan. I noticed he placed in.
It's a city plan. It's not Philip's plan.
Well, it's city plan. I'm saying Philip presented. With the city plan, if I'm missing it, Philip, just tell me. But I didn't see a number.
I would love to see price tags.
For like salary, overtime, benefits, I didn't see a number. So I couldn't compare my number with Philip's, if y'all look at his plan.
Yeah, these are, what's presented in my presentation is, the big picture total cost. We do have it broken down by personnel, professional services, miscellaneous, but it's not in these charts.
So can we get that for personnel, the breakdown like that, so we can make this comparison?
Yes, ma'am. I can take their model and run it through with our cost comparison so we can see what that is. And just as a point of clarification, currently, the 5 garbage trucks, 1 recycle truck they say we're currently staffed at, we're actually currently staffed at 6 garbage trucks, 3 recycle trucks for each zone. What they're counting as the 5 and 1 is effectively who shows up to work every day. So we're at 6 and 3 staffed and on payroll. 5 and 1 is what shows up to work. And down in the proposal, the concern I have about recycling, just off the cuff, this is the first time I've seen this. Recycle Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is heaviest. We wouldn't finish recycling Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with 3 recycle trucks. So we would always be behind Thursday and Friday as we got into those routes because we wouldn't be finishing in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And that's one thing to keep in mind. The reason why I'm hesitant to assign a particular role to any one truck, and one of the reasons why we went to the 32-yard rear loader is that we didn't want to have what Alton Brown calls a unitasker. We didn't want to have a truck that I can only use and recycle on Monday, only use and recycle on Tuesday. I need to be able to move that truck from garbage to recycle because not all routes are created equal. Not all zones are created equal. If you're in East Memphis, you've got heavy, clean recyclables. In some other areas, you've got a lot of outside the cart trash. And so you've got big half-acre lots in some parts of town. You've got high density, and so you need to have that nimbleness of being able to move a garbage truck or recycle truck that's used in recycle in Monday area C, and by the time you get to Thursday, you might need that in garbage or trash. And so when I assign it, if I create a trash truck and call that crew a trash crew, I need them to have the nimbleness to know how to pick up recycle on Tuesdays and be able to pick up garbage on Thursdays. So, we need that flexibility.
I still have the mic, thank you.
Okay.
Can they do that?
Yes, we've in our willingness to work with the administration, to work with the director, we did come up with an overtime incentive plan. If your main concern was about keeping the employees on the clock for long periods of time to get more productivity, during COVID, we were woefully undermanned. And so people were doing 2 and 3 assignments a day. The city was forcing those assignments down their throats with some very heavy-handed tactics. And so we came up with a happy medium. If the person were to do 2 or 3 assignments, irrespective of what time they got off, they would get paid for 12 hours. And it completely smoothed that thing out. So we've been going above and beyond the incentive plan since COVID. The other issue with multiple assignments, we have to have norms. People have to have expectations when they come to work. Now people come to work who've been there, who have established seniority. They don't know what they're going to be doing from day to day. Then we also have lack of equipment issues. They talk about attendance. Every day at each barn, we have half a dozen to 2 dozen employees with no equipment. I have to wait for him to finish with his truck and bring it in. Then I can get on his truck and go and complete my assignment for the day. So it's not just the assignment issue, and I know they're rectifying the equipment issue, but we have people who are waiting on equipment every day also, which is going to be a severe knock on productivity.
Okay, my question is, okay, I see where you're also seeking increases, and, be honest, I think you're probably entitled to them because every job, is respect to the job, and I know sometimes people working these jobs don't receive the respect that they deserve. in spite of the fact if we didn't have it, everybody realizes when they don't come to work. But the question I have was raised with the concept, are you saying if we give you these raises, y'all still are going to be wanting that once I finish my cycle, I'm through for the day? I mean, that has to be eliminated as far
Ma'am,
as a
if
possibility.
I can assure you that if we taking $27 and $25 pay raises to crew chiefs, we will definitely bring that to ratification. That will be the easiest ratification that we can get done at the union hall. We can't answer it now
Right, okay.
because there's a whole separate process to change the language in our memorandum. But
Okay.
it'll be an easy, and I can get that past the board overnight.
Okay, because I would see that would be only fair. If you're going to get paid for 8 hours, we need to work 8 hours and eliminate that MOU.
Not
short
eliminate
period.
the MOU, wait a minute.
That what?
That article? Yes, ma'am, yeah.
With that,
Okay.
So,
yeah, go on.
So, with the pay raises, I just want everybody to see that the reason why these guys have to use their incentive plan so much is because they make little of nothing. So these guys have to hurry up and get out of work to try to get to another job just to provide for their family. If y'all can sit around and understand everything in the world is going up with these individual chicks. I mean, for a man been working in March with Dr. King 60 years, making nothing but $20 an hour for 60 years, who can do that on a job right now? So let's just be honest. That incentive plan was given to the old men because they was underpaid and they still underpaid.
Okay, do you want to, I mean, I hear you, but I know I've talked to some people about the conditions that y'all work in. I mean, justify another reason why you need to get paid other than the fact you've been doing it for 25 years. Tell us about your job. What makes it difficult? Tell me something.
Well, if you can imagine, like I say, you look down the street, there are 41 stops on the street. There are 5 bags at every house. You know, it's back-breaking work. And you can see the heat dancing in the street. There's no air conditioning on these trucks. We only have 11% of our fleet has air conditioning on it. The other garbage trucks, and we're talking about garbage trucks. I know they're gonna make a distinction between trucks, but the Bob trucks and the pickers, they are air conditioned. 11% of the garbage and trash and recycle trucks have air. The rest of them don't. And so it's 105 degrees, you know, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, you know, and when I get off and I've gotten out of the sun, barely, but every time you all have tried to change the incentive plan, people have died. Young man Darrell C. was made to work past when he normally would have been getting off. He died of heat exhaustion and a heart attack. Mr. Eddie went into the bathroom. They worked him past the incentive plan. We have no refuge from the heat. Mr. Eddie went in the bathroom. We looked for him the next day. We didn't find him till the next morning. So there are real consequences to what seems like words on a paper. I know that means his elbows, his back, his knees, his health is at risk to do this job when it's 105 degrees outside.
Another question. What time do y'all usually start in the morning?
7 a.m. 7 a.m.
Okay. Is that, I mean, I'm just thinking, could you start at 6?
And I mean, we've been asking that. When it get hot, we ask that. We always denied that. But
I mean, you were denied the opportunity to start early in the day so that you wouldn't have to deal.
Y'all can pick up
with
my
the
trash
heat.
at 4 a.m. if you want to.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Because Amazon delivers.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so you've asked, so that's a
Yes.
possibility. What I'm hearing is there could be some changes. There could be some practicality, operational changes, which probably could make a big difference here.
And
Yes,
Councilwoman, I'm
Chief.
sorry. Just so you know, that flexibility could be allowed, but we would need an ordinance change because there's hours of that garbage to
When
be
y'all
set out.
want
So
everything else, y'all bring an ordinance or a resolution.
Don't worry about
so
that ordinance is
That's
coming.
that's not a problem. I mean, that's minor compared
As
to
long as
what
they
we
agree.
need to get done here. So maybe Luke sounds like if we could start earlier, we can give them an increase in pay and y'all get your full 8 hours. I think there's some way to resolve some of these issues. We just want the trash picked up. That's what we're trying to get to. Now, I'm listening to the people who do it all the time, but I've also been in situations people be looking in on the other side, and then when they get a chance to do it, oh, I didn't think all of this was involved with it. It didn't work just the way I thought it would work. So my thought is it possible to do half and half, or let's try something for a little while, and then we'll slowly revert or go, back to where we started? My concern, I've shared this with Director Davis too, that I don't see how you expect a change to occur if you keep on doing it the way you've been doing it. And I definitely see you doing it the same way, just add more people to it. So I'd like to see a change personally on how we do it to see does it really make a big difference. I recall looking at your chart in regards to the amount of trash y'all picked up, says so many pounds. Well, I'm sure in the last couple of years we had all these trees falling down, and that really made the poundage look a lot heavier than what actually would be occurring in the natural state from the houses. So that's a concern of mine. I also tell about my experience going over to the, where you dump off your trash at?
Landfill.
Landfill. Now, I just went in like everybody else, and I saw other big trucks coming in. Is there a certain place for us, for the city employees to dump at the landfill?
You talking about city employees, solid waste crews, or
Yes, solid waste crews at Republic.
they would dump with everybody else at the working phase.
Why?
The city employees, or are you talking about individual city residents?
I'm talking about the people with the trucks.
The people with the trucks, they would get in line with everybody else that's utilizing that private landfill. Republic Services, Waste Connections.
Why haven't we worked something out? Look like if we paying them, and I'm sure we're the largest payer for that site. I mean, I went over there and I had to wait almost 30 minutes, right. And I had a little stuff. And can you imagine how long some of your employees are waiting? And then once I got to the site, okay, I waited to go through the wait station. Then once I actually got to the site, you had to sit there and wait before you could drive up and do the dump. So
there should be some place location for residential for small passenger vehicle dumping. There should be a separate place assigned for that.
They didn't have me, just told me to follow the line, follow the rest of them. So what I'm saying is, what are y'all doing in regards to trying to make sure your crew can get in and out as quickly as possible?
We're constantly working with the private landfills to do that. Again, we have 2 Class 1 landfills that receive municipal solid waste and industrial waste in the area, 2 in Shelby County, and everybody in the region is trying to utilize those facilities. A lot of companies, like for commercial and private hauler, they dispatch at midnight in the middle of the night so that they can dump off at 6 a.m. in the low volume times. Our crews are dumping usually about 11 o'clock. Is that usually peak 10:30, 11 o'clock peak dump time out at the landfill? Yeah, so that's the peak dump time, and that's when a lot of the late commercial and some of the other industrial accounts are dumping. So it is,
and they're sitting there in those hot trucks waiting to dump.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you done it? That's all I want to know. Have you done it? You need to try it, and you feel sorry for anybody having to go through that process.
I do. It is hard. It's heavy industrial, and I've said that over and over again. But heat does down under DOT. Heat does down a vehicle if you don't have heat in the vehicle, but air conditioner does not down a commercial vehicle. When it does go down, we ask that GS repair the air conditioner when they do the preventative maintenance, everything else, but from a DOT standpoint, that doesn't down a vehicle.
Who sets up the arrangement for Republic in the city to dump? who makes those arrangements?
We bid that contract, and that contract is awarded. This has been a long-term contract.
Do we have any other choice? Not many other choices?
There in the last 2 years, there is a new disposal facility in the region. It's in North Mississippi in Marshall County. So there is but it's just south of Carterville. It would be all the way out 385 and then just over the Marshall County line.
Okay. Well, I think all of that needs to be looked into. What else can be done at Republic to make that drop off a lot quicker and reasonable? I know they only have one little lane to go through, which is a problem, but Republic need to be working on that if so many people are using it. You got TVA over there dumping off all these same trucks coming in. I had to just sit there and wait there. And I said, this is amazing how many people are coming over here on a daily basis. But being that I'm not sure, maybe TVA spend more than we do. I don't know. But I do know Memphis is paying a lot. But those are my questions at this point. Chair is back in your hands.
I'm having a very thought-provoking conversation with our staff, and I'm gonna opine, get some thoughts on this conversation if you. But Councilwoman Logan.
If you look on the first page of your proposal, midway, it says that our proposal increases both the number of trucks per house per region and bringing the work being performed by Team Waste in Region E back in-house. Is that based on these numbers down here?
No, ma'am, it's not. So we would love to bring Area E, make everything city. But in order to make Area E run smooth, we have to make sure A, B, and C is running smooth, because it's a lot to ask a person for an increase when you can't complete the job doing that you got now. So the same exact thing that it'll take us to run A through D, it'll take the exact same model to run E. So this is a model to show you that if you're willing to bring E back in, we need to make sure A through D is running this way, and D can be ran the exact same way, and it'll work for the city.
Oh, okay. So when it says our proposal includes, that was their. Oh, okay. Option 3. Okay. So you're saying that in order to do Area E, we would need, just for Area E, 6 garbage trucks, 2 recycling trucks, 3 trash trucks, 3 staff per truck.
So you would need. Oh, you want to answer? Oh, she asked me. You want me to answer, or?
I was based on what you. I already got director.
Yeah. So let me see, how can I break this down? The 6 garbage trucks will be in each zone. It should be 3 zones in Area E.
Oh.
Okay. 18. Yeah, it should be 3.
18 for that zone alone.
Yeah.
Area E must be a big area. Is it big?
So Area E is about 36,000 customers. I think it's about 36,000, correct, Philip?
Oh, okay. And how many in the
about
home?
36,000 customers.
It's roughly the same size as each of the other areas. So it's A, B, C, D, and E are all roughly between 34 and 36,000 homes.
So if you took, so it's 36 and 36, 72,000. If you just redid all of those, have y'all ever considered that? Like,
Ma'am.
Have you considered if you add all of them together? Is that what number 3 was? If you add all of everybody together, just take 72,000 and divide it up by however many.
Yes, ma'am. That's option 3. And again, with the options that each of the options that I presented, options 1, 2, and 3, we took into account the benefits package, the leave package, the attendance, to make sure that we're not having 5 garbage trucks, 1 recycle truck showing up any given day, so that even with vacation use, sick leave, we're still having the 6 garbage truck and 3 recycle trucks
For
included
Area E.
for all the areas. So option 3 would be to make sure that E is staffed at that level, the same as A, B, C, and D with city crews.
So right now you have A, B, C, and D with 36,000, and you got E by itself with 36,000. If you were to combine the whole thing and reconfigure how many is in each one, not 30.
That's option 3.
Oh, okay.
That is
I
option
wanted to make
3.
sure you didn't just
Yes.
leave area E
No.
as 36.
No,
Now,
ma'am.
the second question that I had was, or note, I just wanted to, I know a lot of what you were doing and what we discussed even in the Blight task force was based on like data and stats and peer cities and things like that. And I appreciate that because you need that. But I also understand experiential knowledge and the, and giving credence to that in terms of our history of being a clean city. And I know things are a lot different now, but I don't want to disregard or discard their input in terms of we out here on these streets, we see what's out here, we've been doing this, we know what can work, and we're willing to make it work. And so I do want to, see if there's a way to bring that happy medium, because if they're saying we guarantee and we have a relationship with with the staff and the people that's actually working here to where we can get this done. We know what it takes. We've been doing it. All we need is the opportunity, and we can get it done. And so to just say, well, no, it's hard for me to, to say no to that, even though I know there's stats and that type of thing. And my thought is because what we're experiencing right now is not necessarily getting us where we want to be. And if we were to do that, how would that impact, say if we went that model and for some reason didn't give us the results that we needed, and you also need to, how long is it going to take us to get to scale up, and get that performance level service delivery model that you're saying, you're giving your word you can do it. Is there going to be a window of time? You got to train some people and all of that, or you go in day one, we got this, and we're going to see a clean city. And if they were to do that, and they didn't, give us what we're looking for, how would that impact number 2? You going to number 2, or how could you integrate or say, hey, all right, we tried it, got these 6 trucks, but we're gonna have to go with number 2. How would that impact you?
Well, option 3.
No, I was talking about 2.
I was going to say option 3 anticipates that in the lead up to option 3 being able to be implemented in year 5 would be option 2 implementation during that 5-year period. So it would not. I mean, what we would scale back is if we chose not to bring Area E in-house, we would not need an Area E facility. So that'd be the capital cost for that Area E facility. That would be something we would scale back on. We would scale back on equipment purchase, things like that, proportional to the amount of the city that wouldn't be brought in-house, and hiring as well. It would be realized, I guess. Long story short, it would be realized in the amount of a fee increase that would be needed in 29 or 30. So,
my question was, if we went with their model and it didn't work, would that? How would that impact your number 2 model? That's my question.
I'd have. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing their model, so I'd have to dig into it a little bit more before I definitively said that. I don't know how it compares to. I mean, I don't feel they have enough recycle trucks in here, but I mean, that's just me glancing through this one time. So I also want to make sure that with the numbers, I see the increases, the proposed increase in salaries, but I want to make sure, I mean, as they brought up earlier, one of our major problems is not being on a dedicated fleet replacement cycle. And each of the 3 options that I proposed is a 10-year, which is not aggressive. 8 to 10 years is the industry standard for a garbage truck. In our contract with Team Waste, we require them not having a truck older than 7 years. This would put us having a 10-year replacement cycle on our trucks, and I want to make sure that that's anticipated in theirs, because fleet needs to stop being a problem.
Right.
We need to have a truck for everybody that needs a truck.
Did you all factor fleet replacement in your model?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so that is an opportunity as well to go back and look at that. But I do think that, as my colleagues have said, going back to the table and integrating those 2, and if the people say they can do it, but then you did leave out the fleet, that might change the numbers as well. So we need to go back to the drawing board. But I feel like we are getting there as well. Putting the experience with the data, to me, is most effective for the city. And right now, that's I'm concerned about. And the residents, I mean, the employees are residents as well. So, you know, concerned to make certain that they are well paid. Well, and I say this about even in public safety. I think that we should be well trained, well staffed, and well compensated. And so that goes to the employees as well. So going back to the drawing board and putting the data with the experience, as well as bringing them salaries up, factoring in the fleet replacement cost, I think is going to be getting us closer as well. I yield back, Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Logan. Councilman Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, sitting here and thinking about the comments or what I'd want to, you know, kind of going back and forth between the two of y'all, and I mean twos in terms of the entities, almost feel a little bit like a marriage counselor, the arguments I've had in my head. And in that, you know, obviously there's a history in this relationship between management and employee. There, you know, there are issues in terms of communication, in terms of logistics, and sometimes I think that is starting to get in the way. If we're going to try to define what the problem is, we have a city that's not as clean as it should be. We feel like we've got a workforce that isn't as appreciated or compensated as they should be. We've got a population that has a tough time struggling to pay the solid waste fees, the utility bills, the taxes as it is. We just don't have as wealthy of a population as we want in the city of Memphis to be able to afford these services. And so we've got these three tensions, and somehow we've got to be able to figure this out together. I think I've heard pretty consistently from the council of us coming in at the 11th hour and 59th minute and trying to understand your industry and pretend like we're the experts and professionals just isn't going to work out. We're still trying to figure out the lingo in which y'all are speaking back and forth to each other and to us. Yeah. I mean, garbage versus trash. I hope we got that one. So there's still a couple questions I have that we hadn't quite touched on. One would be, every given day, it sounds like we have about 25% of the workforce that's out for one reason or another. Is that correct? Is it? That anybody can answer, or is that number disputed?
Very disputed.
Okay, so the number of employees we have that are supposed to show up on any given day, what do you think it is, or what would your estimate be? And I know we should be able to have the exact number because it's going to be on HR and payroll. So this is a math problem we can work out.
The director right now, the problem is a lack of equipment. We have anywhere from a half a dozen to 2 dozen crew chiefs, or crew persons, or truck drivers who don't have enough equipment. Okay. They literally have to wait for someone to complete their assignment so they can start their day.
Yeah, but they're still coming in, and they shouldn't be waiting for equipment. I think we recognize we've got an equipment problem. They're waiting for equipment to finish, then they go out on the route.
So they're at work.
I'd still count them in, but what we're talking about, especially, y'all's proposal here saying the 5 garbage trucks and 1 recycling, and Director Davis is saying, well, no, it's 6 garbage trucks and 3 recycling, but we're getting 5 in and 1 in every day. As a part of a workforce, some part of your workforce is always going to be out, right? We've got vacation days. So, if you've got 240 days of Monday through Friday, that's non-federal holiday a year, and you get 20 vacation days, and your workforce is taking that means on average, 8.5% of them are going to be out any given day. You're going to have some that have got injuries. This is a heavy, tough job. You're going to be back injuries, things like that. So I was just trying to get to, is there a number that we agree upon is out? And if it is in the 20s, I'd hope to understand that a little bit. And my question would be, is there anything we can do to bring that down?
So I totally understand what you're trying to say. We do have individuals that do take their sick leave. And as y'all can imagine, we have a lot of people that have, like I said, 60, 40, 30 years. A lot of people have grown a lot of years in solid waste. So they have a lot of sick time that they built up. By shortening the workforce, putting more work on these individuals, that seasoned workers, it put a lot of stress on their body, which caused them to take off. If you would look at my model, that with the 3 trash trucks and the 6 garbage trucks, if one of those garbage trucks took off, that trash truck would step in place. So therefore, we wouldn't be missing no workforce because they would step up and take that garbage route. And everybody that was putting trash in that route would take their trash that day. So to limit the load on the individual, if you go with my model, that'll cancel out that the absenteeism. Most definitely.
Then the other question would be to complement. You know, we've got so many positions that we budget for, which is more in our wheelhouse. What % of the complement is currently filled in terms of positions? And then what is it like when we're trying to fill those positions? I know crew chief is a special thing where people got to get certified, and there's a seniority probably to it. But for kind of the basic position, you know, riding on the back of the truck, where are we in terms of complement and getting those spots filled when they do open up?
10% vacancy is what we run. So like we'll run 10% empty as we're constantly trying to fill. We try to do, and holidays mess us up, but we try to do an orientation every 2 weeks, bringing new people on board. We have open registries for crew persons and crew chiefs, CDL holders, their premium, and everybody except for the crew person on the back of the truck needs a CDL, including the supervisors and managers. Okay. So we've implemented with your help, ARPA funds, implemented training program for CDL holders, trying to get some training in-house with that, so that we feel like we have been doing a better job in the last probably 18 months, 2 years in managing our hiring to try to keep that constant flow. We actually have a new position in the organization that is a full-time recruiter, that is keeping us on point with postings, interviews, you know, onboarding.
Okay. And obviously we've got people that, you know, have been in this for 40 years, 60 years, 20 years on these trucks. What is normal? I mean, do we also have a lot of folks that come in and, you know, they'll put in 5 years or 8 months and they go through all 4 seasons and they realize, like, this is a tough job. You know, like, I got to go find something else. Or once they if they found a home, you know, at Memphis Solid Waste in terms of work.
So, solid waste never had a big turnover rate until probably the last 7 to 8 years if you go back. Those guys used to come to this job and stay on their job. That's why they've been on there 30 and 40 years and built up so much time. But now, with the way the operation is ran, a lot of people just not. I mean, they're saying, "Hey, listen, I can go somewhere else, get treated like crap, and make way more money. So I'm gonna leave." So that's the reason why we're having a big turnover rate. Yeah.
And average, Councilman, I'm sorry, average number of years of service that our employees have is 17.
Wow. Okay.
And so, but also to the recruiting issue, I mean, it is a tough job. It's heavy industrial. I can go through the list again. So if we were to fill like a 10-person crew person class, that would be temps and full-time. It's not uncommon for us to lose 5 or 6 in the first week.
Okay. Cheyenne's going to piggyback on something, and then I'm going to keep going.
Question. You said the average for 17. Let's say in the last 5 years, the newcomers that came in the last 5 years, how long do they stay?
I have to look at that, but again, like what we're seeing right now, especially depending on the time of year when they come on board, coming on board into this job in August, not many people are going to stick around, and so this is actually a good time of year for us to try to recruit and get people on board when they get used to the physical nature of the job. By the time we get to June, they at least know the job and don't have the frustration of, now I don't know my coworkers or my route. Now they're just dealing with the heat, you know. But bringing somebody on board in June, July, and August in Memphis to pick up garbage is that's a difficult recruiting thing. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we have 165 contingent employees right now that have spent multiple years, temporary employees that have spent multiple years waiting. Average length of being a temp is like 3 years. So, and we've asked the city to make you have, the people are here, they've been coming to work every day. We need those positions made permanent. And that is a lot of that number that we're asking for is automatically cooked in. You don't have to take the pay up that much. It's like a $3 or $4 difference if you take them from being temp to permanent. That's it. It's not I know the numbers look big, but the numbers the people are there at work. They just are not counted, and the information is not shared with us.
Okay, is there a response to on the temp side in terms of what was just said about the $3 or $4? Because I think there's probably a disconnect in how you feel about it versus how the administration does about what the expense would be.
And there's
we've got quite a few disconnects on some things, but we're going to work through them.
It's about 90 folks that are temporary employees on staff right now, and occasionally it is not uncommon for somebody to be here 2-3 years in temp status. Sometimes it is because of they're not interested in full-time employment. Sometimes they are, and we actually have approached HR on helping them with interview skills. These are civil service jobs when they come full-time, so they're required to be competitively filled. So there is an interview process, and I personally have seen where people could benefit from being able to better communicate. It's not that they don't know their job. I mean, they've been doing it a couple of years. It's being able to articulate that and communicate that during an interview process. We can do better, and we're planning to work with HR on helping with that skill set.
Okay, and look, I'm really sympathetic and proud, both sympathetic of the work y'all do and how tough it is, and proud of the work y'all do and how tough it is. And, we probably, if I were to drop a plan, it'd be the Worth Morgan plan. I'm sure Ed Sr. would have a different plan. And then you get, keep going down the council line and you have 13 different plans. But that's not really where we have our role and responsibility. It's a bit of a gray area, but at some point we can make as many proposals or design as much as we want, but the mayor and the administration have to pick a plan to execute in coordination with y'all in what will work logistically. And I don't know if we're going to, the city council is the right place or position to say of, the proposals. And I love seeing it because I want to know different options of what will work. But I don't think we're the ones that get to pick this plan or this proposal or be. It comes to us in some sense because we have a financial and fiduciary responsibility to allocate and approve the funds, to increase rates, to maybe increase taxes. So we get a say in it. But at some point, the plan's going to get picked by the mayor. We will do our best to fund it, and then it's on y'all's backs and shoulders to execute it. And that I don't know if what I've seen today in terms of the proposal of adding 321 employees and going from 18 in a house or a bunk to 33 being a 83% personnel increase. I absolutely know if we did that, the city of Memphis would be cleaner and would be in better shape. No doubt if we're going to, add 321 people. The question is on that other tension I was talking about at the very beginning, is that something the city of Memphis is willing to afford or pay for, and the dollars that would go on their MLGW bill? Is there any estimate, and we were talking about this early on, and no, I guess, Philip, you want to run it through your models, what that would cost before we'd even say the dollar amount, the increase on the bill.
And I'd want to make sure I sit down with the AFSCME team to make sure, because there's a lot of stuff a lot of assumptions that we made with fleet, with fuel, so that they understand. I want to be transparent in that. I mean, there are assumptions with this, and we want to make sure that we're on the same page, and I don't want to be seen as like overinflating the cost of this.
Right. I agree. Fast is fine, but accurate's final. But I imagine it'd have to be over $100 increase per household per year. Even just by on the low side. So That's the tough thing to balance, and it gives, I think it gives myself and it gives other council members pause where the plan that we have in place right now feels like we're not firing all cylinders, that we're not executing upon. So if we were really to, crank things up in terms of the personnel, the equipment, and everything, how can we guarantee that after we ask more from the community that we're going to be able to deliver that plan, both in terms of being able to hire and onboard as many people as we need to get the equipment in, which has a big back order, and then that everything is actually working out from the 7th floor all the way down to the street of the trash and garbage being picked up as it's planned and scheduled. Because right now the plan that's put in place isn't getting executed. There's a dispute right now about trash bags and whether those should be thrown in the back of the truck, and so they're kind of they're not being done. What would be the dispute next time if we were to change the plan or increase, or would that be the final thing and everything would come together and everything would work out perfect, where we've never achieved perfect, but we'd be paying near insanely high rates. I mean, for what Memphis has had so far, and that's you can see I'm stumbling through my words here because I am genuinely struggling with this. This is a complicated and interesting issue, and it's not just logistics because it involves people. And I really am trying to do the best for y'all and for the city here, but going to need some help from y'all to come together and kind of put down the pitchforks and torches on whoever's got them raised, whether y'all think it's them or they think it's you, and try to get this sorted out. And then, I think we'll be willing to give a shot to funding some new ideas that come across here if we can go back to the people and say they're going to see the results of it. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Those are my thoughts and questions, and there may be some response, but I don't know where we're going with this. But
I know.
A table or a delay.
I already know where we're going, but I do want to give Councilwoman Shannon Swearingen.
Do we have money in the budget for a marriage counselor, or is there some other professional service? I'm not trying to be derogatory, but it was just like maybe a professional services mediator.
I've been told by a very informed source that we have some money in the budget. I'm gonna let Councilwoman Swearingen Washington speak, and then have some remarks, and then
Thank you, Chair. That was part of my comment, I guess, to see if there was a mediator that could come in, because it would be unfortunate that the citizens are being punished as a result of not being able to really come together and be able to just put our feelings on the, behind us and be able to work together to come to the next level, because it seems like Aspen needs to talk with solid waste. Once we can finally get on one accord, then you all coming together collectively and talking to the employees and letting them know what the expectations are. And I know that if we give the employees even a $4 or $5 raise, it's going to be more than that, because we have to consider the benefits. So it's going to be more than $4 or $5. So it may not be, we may not be able to hire as many employees as possible. But I want to also ask for the equipment. If there was just a wish list of something that we needed immediately, what equipment would you say between both of you?
You said how many or what?
A packer, and which does what?
Pick up the garbage.
Okay. A 32-yard. How many will we need?
Wish list?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Let's see.
Is that the one that's $290,000?
Yes, ma'am. 291.
291,000.
And those are the ones that we ordered 18 months ago. So I don't know what they cost right now. They are air conditioned.
How many would we need?
There was 6 or 7, right?
New package, new 32.
At a minimum.
For option 2, I am proposing 136 purchased over the next 10 years at $291,000 apiece.
That's a lot of them.
Because the other ones are gonna go out.
Yep. I mean, if we need 108 to cover the routes on any given day, and if I have 108, nothing's ever getting an oil change. And that's part of our problem, is that we drive it into the ground because we don't have enough mechanics and we don't have enough equipment to have a true preventative maintenance program.
So that's about 13 or 14 a year.
Yes, ma'am. That's I have a schedule of 13 to 14. Yes, ma'am. A year.
Okay.
I mean, dump trucks, 100 over the next 10 years, 10 a year. Those are, last time we purchased them, a little over $100,000 a piece. Grapple loaders, 36 of those. Those are $263,000 a piece. So.
Now, would you all be able to come together? Or do we really have to hire a mediator
Can we get a copy of that?
to be able to have a conversation?
We work well with them.
Well, it doesn't look like we work well together.
No, to be honest,
It appears that way.
And as a result of not working well together, our constituents are dissatisfied, our city looks dirty, and you just wouldn't believe the number of emails and phone calls we get, and stopped in the store, and just, I call Director Davis best friend because I talk to him every day because people are contacting us.
so I got an option that I've been bringing to the table for the last 6 months, and I've been meeting with Darius and Phillip for the last 6 months just to tell them, hey, listen, let's just take Area A and run a pilot program. Y'all don't have to change our system, but work our system. We have enough people over there. We have enough equipment over there. Work our system, go to the citizen within 2 months, and I guarantee you it's a change. They have yet to implement it. I'm just asking to do a pilot program in one area, just one.
Are you willing?
Almost didn't make it, brother. You almost didn't make it. I'm listening to a pilot program now.
So
Tell
what
me
are our
about it.
next steps?
I want to hear something about a pilot program because you almost didn't make it.
I'm asking to implement this pilot program with the 6 garbage trucks, Democrat. That would be area D. WC?
Democratic.
Yeah.
Democrat C. So area C, the entire area portion of C.
Yeah, to run 6 garbage trucks in each bunk room, 3 trash trucks with those recycle trucks. Put those pickers and ball back in their zone for 2 months, and then we come to the table and say, hey, is it clean or isn't it? We can just check it out. I'm telling you, it will work.
All right, so initially I was going to entertain a motion to table this until February. Now what I would love to see is, can we see some numbers on what it would look like to have a pilot program, or if it's feasible at all? I'm almost fixing to have it right now.
No, and I'll just tell you off the cuff, we don't have the equipment in
We
Area
don't
C.
even, not even
That
feasible. at
Area
this
C
point.
is Area C is where we're talking about people running a route and then coming back in and letting somebody else run their route with the same truck. So we don't have the equipment. We would have to take equipment from other areas to do that.
When do we get more equipment in?
Again,
We don't know.
We've taken.
I know we've already ordered it.
We've taken delivery on what we have on order. We don't have a fleet replacement program, so that means I have nothing on order right now. That's what's really concerning to me about the equipment stuff, is that I need to order equipment so that 18 to 24 months from now I will have trucks coming in, because right now I do not have any trucks coming in.
Dr. Warren?
So the issue is you have to wait annually for our budget before you can order something. And that's part of why you want this, so you'll know how you can order down the road.
If I can have a fleet, and I promise this is not a magic bullet, because I have had our consultant guess what interest rates are going to be because I do this on a debt service payment. So while I'm saying that right now in this forecast model, I would like to be able to buy 13 to 14 garbage trucks every year, 10 Bob trucks, 3 to 4 grapple loaders every year. When interest rates go up and down, that number has to be adjusted because my buying power with what I have in fees coming
I say
in,
let's go for it.
it fluctuates with interest rates. So I mean, it's like we're playing the market.
Any other comments from this body? Okay, go ahead.
So I really think we can't just totally delay this. We've got to be able to move forward because we do need to be purchasing equipment and being able to figure out how to do it. My concern is I'm still worried about doing this all with fees. And, I still think we need to have some sort of proposal that, okay, we'll start off with this percentage of fees with the idea that we're expecting we need council to do X as far as property tax raise is concerned to cover this later. And I know that we've never wanted to do any property tax raises. This would be outside the Strickland administration, so he can leave without ever having had a property tax raise, and he'll be happy with that. But, it also would be more fair to our, people who don't have as much money in our community not to pay the same amount for this fee that I do, okay? Or that people that but their properties are worth more, that can afford to pay more, they should be able to help do this more so it's more fair. So this is not fair. So I know you need this. We want you to do it. But I think most of us would like to see some sort of split that would make this more fair.
Okay.
Any other questions from this body? Councilman Ford.
All right. I think we need to move forward. Y'all need to try to get together. I'm not an ask me person, okay? Administration person either. I'm for what should be done, okay? Because I got issues on both sides, if y'all want to know. Mainly on that side. Truck-wise, a while back I mentioned about trucks, how many, and you had some on order. You just made a statement that you don't have any on order anymore. How many did you get in? Was it the 4 that they just said, or was it more than that?
It was 33 trucks that have been delivered to this point.
Okay.
There are 2 that were delayed an additional 6 months, so these started coming in August, so we won't see those before February, March of next year.
Okay, but you've received how many?
33.
33, okay,
Yes, sir.
instead of 4. That's a big difference from 4, okay? He know what I'm talking about. Yeah, 'cause we talked about this a few months back.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I know what, yeah. Okay, I'm good with that.
It was like 16 Packers and 12 Bob trucks, 2 pickers, and yeah.
I think we need to kind of start moving. Got a new administration coming in. We got some people that's going to be leaving, some coming in, okay? And we got to do something. So we ain't got much more time, okay? On both of these sides, okay? Y'all need to do something, okay? That's what I said. Hey, I'm asking. Let me ask one more question.
Yes, sir.
Age-wise of people, what are their age? The oldest that you may have working?
81.
Okay.
Yeah, 80, I was going to say,
81,
I think
good
81,
enough. Josh,
82.
he should have been gone a long time ago, but
crew
he
chief.
had to
Reverend
keep
Cleo
on
Smith,
working.
crew
Yeah,
chief.
okay.
Yeah.
But you've had him up to about 85 years old.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, I know. I met all of them, okay? I kind of buried the ones at 85 that y'all ended up getting. Okay. I'm good with that. I want people to think about that, okay? When it comes down to the sanitation department, everything, yes, age-wise, all like that, everything, yes, when we get ready to discuss some things, okay? Y'all want to go back to 68? A lot of y'all wasn't even born in 68. I was. I know about all of it, okay? I marched with Martin Luther King and all like that, too. I remember when he got killed. I know kind of a little more than what some other folks maybe know about the situation, okay? everything else. But we're running out of time. This city is dirty, very, very dirty. You know, but just to be honest, people on the trucks, and I'm gonna just be honest, you got some, hey, we'll go to this home and skip that home. You got some that will be on the truck and leave half the trash in the street. Okay, that's a problem, you know. So y'all need to look at those things also. Maybe it wouldn't be all this debris out there if they would pick up what's supposed to be instead of leaving half. And then if you come out the house, person, they got an issue and say, hey, you pick it up yourself, okay? That's happened, okay? That's why I said we need to do a little bit better on, hey, these people that's paying on their utility bill every month before we decide to raise things like that. Because I know a young lady that works. She could be retired. She's still there. She rode the truck in Whitehaven, where I live. They moved her. But you know what? She just liked sanitation department, okay? She liked picking up trash. How many people want to pick up some trash? Okay, not many. But you know what? When she went to her house, she made sure whatever fell out of that cart, they picked it up, okay? They moved her out east, out in the black neighborhood now. Put out there because they knew what she could do. Not only that, she moved up and they put in the office. She asked them, please take me out this office. Some of y'all might know who I'm talking about, okay? And she's back out in the street again because she wants to try to clean the city up too. But a young lady, not a man, lady, hard-working woman, okay? Maybe we need more like her too. Then, like I said, get these 81-year-old people different type jobs to do. Let them be the crew chiefs and all this other. Ride around, make sure everybody's doing different things, okay? All right? Y'all look at all that, because we're running out of time. We need to move forward and do some things, because hey, we ain't did nothing but waste time, okay? Thank you.
All right, I'm going to ask a couple questions from Councilwoman Robinson in her absence. She sent out a list of 2 questions. All right, the first question is, should the council decide to implement the solid waste administration's proposed increase, can solid waste also focus on consistently reminding residents of their scheduled pickup days moving forward? So, Charity, can we be sure to let Councilwoman Robinson know the answer is yes? And then a follow-up question from Councilwoman Robinson. Could residents be encouraged to withhold their trash from curbside placement until their designated pickup days? This practice could address concerns about perceived oversights in trash collection for specific constituents. So I guess, you know, she want to know there's a way for us to remind residents about withholding trash. And are we currently doing that?
Well, as part of we can do that as part of the education, the ongoing education reminder in the first point. But as part of my each of these proposals, I am proposing 18 environmental enforcement folks that can go out and help people with informing them of their collection schedule and when they should be placing waste outside the cart. With that, I would expect that we would, if you read the ordinance really is designed for that bulk trash should be bulky items, refrigerator, mattress, something like that, and vegetative debris, bundled limbs and leaves and bag grass. We've turned it into because the ordinance says that you must have enough carts, sufficient carts to contain all your refuse. So again, we use these older terms, but interpreted as, hey, your household garbage needs to be in a cart. If you don't have enough carts for your household garbage, you need to lease another cart. And so that would be another thing that this enforcement team could do is help with folks that routinely have overflow garbage that should be in a cart, making sure they get a cart so that it's not out there for vectors and animals to get into and strewn all over the city.
Okay. Assuming Charity got most of that, she's nodding her head. Yes, so I'm more the lines of where Councilman Morgan is. This doesn't work if y'all don't work together. I mean, you can't come to the table and operate in bad faith and expect to get something done. It just doesn't work that way. Y'all have to operate in good faith. It can't be my proposal or none. It has to be, okay, let's come together and figure out how to make this work for the betterment of the city of Memphis. We take these roles and these positions, and I guess at some point we forget and we try to claim it as ours, but ultimately it's public service. That means we're providing a service to the people who call Memphis home. And I get calls every single day. What you gonna do about trash? And my next door neighbors, and my neighbors right across the street from me, they are more inclined to just come to my house, knock on my door. If I'm not there, I can check my little mail slide, and there's gonna be a note sitting right there on the floor and say, "Hey, councilman, this hasn't been done. What you doing?" So I just need y'all to come to the table and operate in good faith. Not operating in good faith, at some point it's getting back to the council. It's gonna get back to the council then. And I said it in jest. I said it to Ms. Owens and Ms. Hyman that if I don't see something soon, when I can look at a plan and I can say these sides are actually trying to get something done as opposed to my way or no way. What you're gonna see Council Smiley's plan to fix trash, and I know nothing about solid waste. I'm gonna tell you what I think needs to be done, and y'all gonna say it's no. But I guess what I can do, I can count to 7. I can get 7 votes. So just operate in good faith. That's all we want. We want a clean city. We're not the experts in the room. We're not the expert when it comes to what administration looks like. We're not the expert when it comes to what it actually takes to clean up the city. But just work together. Work together. So this is what I'm going to do, and we'll see if the council agrees with me. I will entertain a motion to table this item hold this item until the second meeting in February 2024.
I move that we hold this item until the second meeting in February.
Can we have a discussion on that? I'll second it and then discussion.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just wondering about timing as it relates to ordering future equipment and things along that line. And is the second week in February too long a time to hold it? Do we need to hold it until the first meeting in January? Can you guys get something done by then? So I would like to hear from our parties about when they think the appropriate time to bring this back to us might be.
Please do that. We don't want to just be dirty.
18 to 24 months is the lead time for equipment. We will not be able to order it until, I could order it, but once it's ordered, we're obligated to it regardless of the plan that we have.
I don't think you'll have any opposition from council about ordering equipment, but what I do know is you're gonna see very
Wouldn't we have to do a transfer
did something wrong
in terms of funds, just in terms of operations before then, if we did a hold?
So I think the issue that this body is having is we don't see a plan that's going to actually clean up the city, in our opinion. But we do understand that there's an immediate need for equipment.
Chair, how much money do they have on hand already?
I still had the floor, I just want to say, but how much money do we have on hand?
I love this. Hold on.
I thought it passed you with the
Touche. So hold up 1 second. I know Dr. Warren still had the floor. You mind if I allow Chief
Please
Ryan
go ahead, Mr. Chair.
to grace us with the presence? Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak. Shandell Ryan, Chief Operating Officer for the City of Memphis. I just want to make one quick statement about postponing this. Well, first I want to talk about the ideas that have been brought to the table. I appreciate AFSCME for the conversations that they've had today. Before we changed the model back in 2018, we had several meetings with AFSCME, and they were a part of those discussions when we brought forth the plan that we put into place. I want to remind everyone, before 2018, how horrible things were. I think that maybe is lost on everyone. That is the plan that we were working, where we had trash trucks, where we had all of these additional things, and we were still not able to meet the demands of the service. We had received about 60,000 calls in 311 on one in May of, 2018. 2018, and what we discovered was there was a problem with solid waste. And we went about this work, 17, yeah, it wasn't 18, it was 17. We went about this work of trying to figure out how we can, help to change the model. And we met cross-functionally across divisions and included AFSCME, and we had lots of conversations. You guys partnered with us to add $15.5 million to the budget
Chief.
to do equipment, and we've added a lot of things. So I'm saying this to say there is room for conversation and compromise, but going back to where we came from, I don't think is the best solution because it wasn't working at the time that we were before you to make a change. I just want to make that one point first.
Chief, on this, as you're looking at it, the other issue that we've got, and I think everyone needs to take this into account, the amount of solid waste after COVID and the increase in deliveries and Amazon and UPS and everyone getting stuff at home is different. So we're dealing with a different animal now than we were in 2017. And so as we're going forward, that's another reason for the collaboration we've got to have, because this may be a both-and situation, not an either-or situation as we come down to it. And I guess the question I still have is, coming back, when you bring this plan, can you please bring us a plan that is not solidly funded only by fees?
Yes, we can show you what that looks like. My ask is that we continue to allow the ordinance to move forward, and at some later time, if we're unable to bring all of the information that satisfies council, then at that time we can do a table. We've not had the first reading yet. We've just had a committee meeting, and I would love the opportunity to try to get to a resolution by the first of the year. Also, because if we table it to February, that's going to make the fees even higher because we need the funds in order to.
Okay. Well,
hold on,
so
Jeff. Hold on, Doc.
Okay.
So, because it's 4:23, and I don't want to be here past 4:30. Okay, I will be willing to. We can move it to the last meeting in December, but if you don't have it, because right now you don't have the votes.
Then we table it.
You don't have the votes, and I don't want to, I want to say waste the public's time because you don't have the votes, and I know you don't have the votes. This will be voted down. What I would suggest to you all is come back with a different plan. Because plan 1, plan 2, plan 3 will be voted down. This plan will be voted down. I better figure something out. That's it. We've been here too long. That's it.
I was just going to say thank you.
Mr. Chair, can we, on this particular motion, I would like to recommend that I withdraw my second.
There we go.
Okay, and we can let it move forward in such a way that at the last reading, we can table it at that reading if we need to.
I'm with Councilwoman Johnson here. I want to see a completely different plan. We have, in order to get something done, sometimes we have to hold people feet to the fire. Right now, they're just operating willy-nilly. No one's in these, from my point of view, no one's in these conversations in good faith. Right now, it's either this plan or this plan. Nothing where they're actively working together. They have to work together. They have to work together. Councilman Morgan talked about a marriage. They have to work together. So I will entertain a motion.
I've removed my second.
So we just need another second.
Four got a second. All right.
Have something by the end of the.
I say,
Councilman Morgan.
You're going to have a lot of rookies walking into a really tough position.
That's fair.
And they look, they've got experience. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to run and win the job. But there's a certain level of information that they're just going to be without and making a very important decision very quickly.
So I get what, so there's
Point
a
of
bit
information, Mr. Chair. I think last meeting, we voted to move it downstairs with no recommendation. So all we're looking at is it goes downstairs today.
We can table it now. We can table it now and ask an executive.
If we table it, then it stops the work on it until February. If we don't
That's
table
not
it,
true.
then they may actually have a compromise by the end of by the time we finish, and it's only a first reading this time.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. So we can table it. And if they come back with we can hold it, we can table it, we can do any of those things.
And we can do that on the third reading.
Hold on. Somebody told me that I'm the chair and I can do anything I want in this committee. All right. We can hold it, we can table it. I don't really have opinion about either or, but what I do know is we can bring it back at any time if we have a solution that seems acceptable by this council. Right now, we don't have one. And if I'm concerned that we're gonna be right here again in the same situation. We're gonna be in the same situation in the next council meeting. So let me ask you this question. Before I think we proceed, how long has this plan been ready? Did we know that we needed more funds prior to this plan being presented?
So we've been saying that we would need more funds since last year. And what go ahead. I think I'm about to answer your question because part of what we said was we had the emergency contract that was still in place. They wouldn't accept their bid. We had to rebid it, and then we became a part of the blight and illegal dumping and blight task force. So at that point, we said we will work through that process, incorporate ideas from that process into the plan that we would bring back. Since then, we also rebid the contract because the bidder would not accept the bid that they had because the economy had changed so much. So we went through that bid process and received the agreement that we have now that informs the rate that we would need to bring forth. So we knew that we would have this need coming. What we didn't have is all the components that we needed to bring a rate that was that basically considered all of the facts that was needed in order to have a sustainable rate. So that's how we got to this point. But we've been talking about it along the way and just giving you heads up on what the steps have been.
So let me ask you this question. Why wasn't this presented in the budget so that this body could contemplate a tax increase? Or any other methods instead of a across-the-board fee increase that, disproportionately affects people who live in Super District 8?
So we brought it up at the budget hearings, and we talked about the fact that there would need to be a rate increase as a part of it, because this is governed by the rates, not necessarily by budgeting through general funds. What we said was we're going to have to come back to look at the rate because the rate we needed the information from the bid in order to give a rate. We said at the time during the budget hearings, we can give you a proposal that bakes in a rate that we think we will be at. We would love to come back and bring you a proposal that tells you what the rate should be based on the bids that we did actually receive. And that was the conversation we had at the time and why we're coming back now versus during the budget period.
Dr. Warren?
Before we paid for all of this by rates, I recall a slide that showed where all this came out of general funds. So all that says it should be by rate. So, as we're trying to figure out what's fair for equal rate for equal property, we need to have that data. So can you bring us something by the third reading?
The solid waste fund, by the general fund, you're absolutely right. And the will of the council at that time was to get out of that business, was to create a fund that would be solvent within itself to fund the entire operation so that we didn't have this spillover to general fund. That was the will at the time, and that's been the way that we have been operating. We can absolutely bring you some information.
Based on the
back.
amount of that we're going to have to increase it to actually fund this, I think the will of this council and perhaps in future council may be to use some general funds to try to make this more fair. So, Mr. Chair, I'll be quiet.
Okay, so, all right, cooler heads do prevail. Shout out to Ms. Hyman back here, who's in my ear. I do see the importance of trying to get something done. Sometimes I lose faith. I don't think y'all are working together. I really don't. I think you're essentially wasting our time because I just don't see it. I don't see it. It's like you're just in a bad relationship, beating up on each other as opposed to saying, "Look, we got to serve the people," and I just don't want to be a part of it when y'all are not actively trying to work together. I don't see it. So what I'm going to do instead, I will entertain a motion to hold this item, not for first reading this upcoming week, and give y'all an opportunity to work together. If it feels like that y'all still are not working together, I don't envision it going forward at all.
So you want me to withdraw my motion?
Withdraw your motion. I'll entertain a motion to hold this item for 2 weeks. On the regular agenda.
Mr. Chair, can I make an alternative motion?
Go ahead.
I move that this item goes to the regular agenda, not this next meeting, but 2 weeks from now.
That's the same thing.
Same thing. But I move that it goes there as opposed to okay, never mind.
Yeah. It sounds good, though. I like how it sounded.
You gotta have the last word.
Pizzazz on it, right?
It sounds like it.
Oh, well. Yeah.
All right. It sounds like Councilman Ford agrees and Councilman Warren agrees, and I think Councilwoman Johnson is still with my original motion.
You got that right. May I speak?
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
I'm still concerned about the fact of what all we're going to place on these citizens. You want an increase in this fee. You want an increase in Memphis Light, Gas, and Water. You want an increase from TVA. You want an increase from property taxes. Now, let's tell us exactly how much money we're going to be dealing with. And we don't need to be going through no 3 and 4 ordinances trying to make it happen. Mm-hmm. So they need to come back with some facts and what it actually takes to make it happen. My first priority would be your services over Memphis Light, Gas, and Water, okay?
I think everybody's there.
But we just cannot keep on having this trash in the streets. Who knows where we're going to go to as far as diseases. But we need something definite, something where the two of y'all working together on it, okay? We're expecting that. And if you still need time, come back and let us know. Do not sit there and then tell us later, well, no, talk up. Thank you, Chair.
Absolutely. The clock is ticking, y'all. This council seems to have some faith. I don't know. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Thank you all. This committee is adjourned.